Thank you for listening to All Things Tat.
And welcome back to Conscious Chat. You can hear more shows like this one by visiting us at consciouschat.com. Today we have Ghost, Ground Zero, Neil, and a few others joining us. We're going to be going over racism, violence, materialism, religion, gods, the devil, a few other topics. If you are there, Ghost, I'll let you take it away. We can go ahead and get started talking about all the racism that's been on the news here lately.
I mean, let's take a look at this monument, Confederate monument stuff, the flag, all this crap that they're pulling. Now they're going after Christopher Columbus's statue. I mean, it has nothing to do with racism. Why aren't these people that are gathering up to make those scenes, okay, of protesting or whatever they're doing, we want to call it?
Because they know how to get their attention. See how they got their attention? Why don't you do the same thing?
It's too easy to go after an inanimate, non-living statue, you see? But it's not easy to go after people that are sitting in power. So they're taking easy street, going after a monument. It's defenseless.
No. What you don't understand, they're going after money. They don't give a fuck about any of that shit. They want their money. You know what I'm saying? That's what their organization is. It's going down with that. You gotta look at it like this, man. NAACP ain't shit without drama. How many times? I don't know how to put this in any different type of way. I mean, you guys are making it more than what it is. You're really making it more than what it is. I'm just saying.
I'm not making anything more than what it really is. Okay? What it really is it's cowardly, provocative, displays of hatred towards inanimate objects. And these people, they're cowards. If they really want change, why are they storming a fucking monument? Why are they storming their fucking local government building? Because why? They're cowards. They're fucking cowards.
It's all propaganda. It's just like with the whole ISIS situation, man. CNN was running out. So what they do, they went after a group that's been in service since what? 1999.
Baltimore, Maryland. That riot that happened over there in Baltimore, Maryland. That's not propaganda. Those people really burned their damn community down. But what did it get them? Wait them. Nothing. A loss of places to get their supplies that they need to live.
But guess what? It also gave who? The NAACP a story. Yeah, guess what else? It gave the KKK a story. Guess what else? It gave CNN a story. Gave the world a story.
And it also gave the 1%, the government, okay, corrupt government, something to laugh at and point their finger at and say, look, they're acting like animals. They're nothing but animals. See? We're right. This is why we need to be there to govern them. They cannot be responsible for themselves. They're not responsible.
But what you guys don't understand, most of the hatred in America comes down to three groups. And it ain't got nothing to do with the politicians. You know what I'm saying? Because the politicians are going to get their money no matter what.
I disagree with you a little bit on that. I believe thoroughly most of the hatred comes from the government. That's what they instill on people through the education system, through their communities. Okay? Sorry, I disagree with you on that. It definitely comes from somewhere.
Man, you think that they're going home discussing you over a plate of dinner? Hell no. You know what I'm saying? You are one dumb, conceited motherfucker if you think that the government, those corrupted politicians, is going home discussing you over a plate of dinner, man.
They ain't coming after they ain't talking about any one person, but they're talking about an idea or a belief that a bunch of people believe in. Okay, yeah. Because they're all thinking about how they can manipulate and make the money from them people.
Man, let me tell you, though, they're not sitting there pointing no finger or any of that kind of nonsense. They over there just minding their own business, collecting their money. As long as you don't interfere with their politics and start going at their money, which is in the taxes and all of that stuff.
That's not true. That's not true at all. These people they literally pay people to sit in a box and be a think tank. So they come up with avenues of, well, what could they do that we got to protect ourselves from so they can't turn around and keep us from making our money?
Man, let me tell you something, dude. Once again, bro, all the hatred is derived from 3 organizations. CNN. They use fake news to get stories to make money ratings. The NAACP. Because racism in all reality doesn't exist the way it used to back in that time, they have to try to keep it alive. And the KKK. Same thing as the NAACP.
Well, I will not disagree with you on that. But the problem is, they're reaching millions of people through their damn news agencies, through cable media that everybody's been watching and trained to believe in, from decades of watching what used to be real news. Now it's not. It's propaganda.
That's because it's interesting. They know how to. You have to look at the generation you're in today. The generation that you're in today is obsessed with violence. I mean, violence is like, oh man, somebody getting their ass whooped. Oh, let's click on this video.
Exactly. And how did they get conditioned to be obsessed with that? Through fucking cable TV. Notice how it used to be back in the day. It was about, funny stuff, ha ha ha. Now, then it turned into action, a little bit of action, then it was Rambo and all these crazy, action movies, like 18, shit like that. Then it was, Miami Vice. Now it's NCIS with all those crazy fucking cop shows. Everything's a cop show now. You know what I mean? It conditioned people to be addicted to drama.
But those exploit the good side of it, though, not the bad. Well, it exploits the good and bad, but mostly the good, and how they handle the bad. But you have to look at it, dude. This generation nowadays, man, they like that kind of stuff. Like, I'm going to give you an example.
Listen here. If there's been over 1 million people or up to 1 million people on this so far, at least I spoke to 1 million people. They had to hear me. Everybody that came on this and left this, they heard me. If there's 1 million motherfuckers, they hear my voice.
Once again, man, kudos to your efforts, but it's not all about you, man. Kudos to your efforts, but it's not all about you. You just sound like you're worried, about your ego needs to be fed or something like that. That's bad form.
I told you he's an instigator. But have you seen that video floating around about that 6-year-old, slapping his grandmother, going up, calling himself a crip in McDonald's? Man, I looked at that shit like, bruh, if that was because the way I was raised, if that was my grandma, I'd have went through that table. I mean, it wasn't nothing funny at all to me. But to everybody else, it's just a big laugh. It's the same like with the little 3-year-old girl twerking. That shit's not cute. With the little 4-year-old, 5-year-old cussing and trying to, act like a thug, that's not cute. But, the way the generation is today, they like that kind of stuff. So you got to make your money. You got to move with the times, as they say. You know what I'm saying?
Well, see, there you go. What you said, you got to make the money. No, you don't. People are fucking so conditioned to chase a dollar. That's just greed. Greed is one of the 7 deadly sins. What happened to what's right and what's wrong? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. But you have to look at it though, man. Money is just a object. It's the material. You know what I'm saying? It's that person's conscience is what's fucked up. When you lusting after this shit, that's when you fuck up.
Exactly. And it also says in the Bible, not to cling to material things, not to be material. In other words, that would be, don't fall short of trying to compete with the Joneses, having things, being obsessive, possessive, shit like that.
Yeah, but man, I mean, you just have to look at it like that, dude, man. I mean, you can't knock them what they're doing. You can't. I mean, they're doing what they do. They're making their money. They're getting rich. They're feeling good, They're driving nice cars, all because of what? They learned how to move with the times. They learned how to adapt, adapt and overcome. Overcome what? Poverty, in this case. Because I tell anybody, if you ever look at any ride, and when, Al Sharpton and them show up, do they ever tell those people, hey, why are y'all sitting here burning your own place down? No, they encourage them to do it. You know what I'm saying? They sit there and give them fuel to their fire when it comes down to that stuff. How can you sit there and watch your people destroy their own neighborhood and you not try to stop them? Instead, you encourage them and you instigate and give them more reasons to cause damage. You know what I'm saying?
Probably because they got insurance policies on certain things that make money. Not saying that is the case, but that's a possibility, you know. Or all I'm saying is, listen, to prosper without stepping on somebody else and harming others, that's fine. But when you start stepping on others and harming others through your prosperity, that's not fine.
But I mean, you're still not getting what I'm saying, though. Those people are not for their people. You know, they might come in and say they are, but they're not who they say they are, man. They're what you call wolves in sheep's clothing. You know, they say, oh, man, we're for the black people and this and that. But yet you're not doing. They're politicians. In other words, they're just pretty much politicians on a smaller scale. They try to make it look as if, but in other words, they really don't give a fuck. They just want their pockets to be lined.
The problem is people aren't willing to go out there and make an honest buck anymore. You know, honestly make money. They're busy being sneaky, as you said, wolves in sheep's clothing, undermining people in a sneaky way to make an easy dollar.
I'm tired of hearing you because you ain't trying to work nothing. You ain't trying to figure out anything right now. You know, you just trying to make someone feel like, oh, they should stop what they're doing because, oh, they're not doing it right. You know, fuck what you mean right now. Because you be fucking, we're going to get to some discussions here.
I'm just saying, dude, you have to look at it like this, dude. Everything that I've said is simple. It is nothing complex about anything that I've just said, but it's the truth. It's the truth, and it's very simple. It's nothing hard about it. It's right there in your face.
The truth is, there's a whole lot of greedy people out there ready to step on their neighbor to be, you know, to get ahead or just simply survive. You know, they're not willing to. Are some people that are willing to, you know, help people out, but not. The percentages are super low, for nothing at all, just for the sake of doing it.
Right. This generation nowadays is every man for himself. Dog eat dog. That's what kind of world this is now. You know what I'm saying? You have a few good people who are, you know, genuine, but for the most part, no, it's dog eat dog. They're going to do whatever it takes to get whatever they want.
I mean, this is an example, and I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm just using it for example. The other day, I was at the lunch table, okay, with coworkers and shit. Fella asked somebody for $1 for a soda. Didn't ask me for $1, right? She said, well, I ain't got $1. Just like that, right? I turned around, I reached in my fucking pocket, and said, here you go, here's $1. Just like that.
All right, but now I'm trying to figure out where does that fit in, though. I mean, I'm trying to figure out what place does that fit in at.
I'll tell you what I'm trying to say is doing things out of sheer kindness. You know, people have lost their way as far as being kind to one another. Being willing to help somebody for nothing at all. Just saying, okay, here you go. What do you need? Can I help you? Reaching out to another person.
Well, that's because you have to look at it. You know, a lot of people were getting paid for their kindness, you know, for being considerate. But once the money get low, guess what? Things change. I mean, I can use another example.
Oh, my bad. Of course they're thinking over there. Look how they go through the Bohemian Grove and shit, run around butt naked, worshiping motherfuckers. You don't think they just go fly in their fucking private jets and landing at the Bohemian Grove?
But yeah, we have this examiner where he used to work for the company that I'm with. You know, he was the most fair guy that you could ever find when it came down to testing. But when his ranch went under, you know what he did? He started selling CDLs. He no longer gave a fuck. He was getting paid and doing all this and that, but he no longer gave a fuck about anyone. He only gave a fuck about himself. And you know what he did? He started selling those CDLs. And people were getting CDLs that didn't deserve them.
All right, man. See, you're jumping way off and you're out there in orbit again. We're bringing it down to the basics here. That's what's the problem. People aren't bringing it down back to the basics, you know? Ground zero, the basics, where we start from.
No, because it's definitely on the subject. A lot of these guys, when it comes down to it, these people were good at one point in time, served a purpose. But once their purpose almost diminished, they had to find some way to stay relevant, you know, and that's when you resort to desperate measures.
No, I was talking about Ground Zero. He's all talking about Bohemian Grove and shit. We're talking about, acts of kindness, the sheer willingness to help another person for nothing at all, just be a decent fucking human being. You know what I mean? And he's out there talking about Bohemian Grove and shit. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, I just ignore that dude. That's artificial knowledge. That's just a bunch of he goes to the University of YouTube at his home. But yeah, I mean that's kind of like the worst way to learn something. The best way to learn is to get you a passport and to move around.
I disagree.
Well, all I'm saying is he should stay on topic, man. Right there's where he loses a lot of people. You sit here having a conversation about certain things. Next thing you know, he's talking about fucking Bohemian Grove. The fuck? What's that got to do with what we were talking about?
But you have to look at it. That dude is all about himself. He's part of the problem. Once again, he's the instigator. He's trying to keep himself relevant. He's trying to serve a purpose. So what is he going to do? He's going to start shit, and he's going to want people to figure out. I mean, he's going to want people to inquire a way to change. When really, in our reality, there's nothing going on of that sort of sense. He kind of reminds me of a prosperity preacher. You have a preacher that'll sit up there and speak on how your money means this much to God. Let's just put it that way. Now, I got a question. What would a person, if this person so-called created this, why would he even need it? Why would he have any use for it?
You're right. Sorry about that, but God has no use for money. Money doesn't even. He probably smites the whole idea of money, monetary system. So you're absolutely right about that. It's irrelevant to God.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? He could create something better if he made it. You know what I'm saying? Something worth more. Then they'll try to come at you. Well, it's the thought. It's the thought. Wow. Really? The thought? The thought of somebody's giving all their hard work money to your Cadillac, to paying your bills, your mortgage. That's the thought, I'm trying to figure out. So are you the God? Because, I mean, last time I checked, you're the only one making use of the money. But yeah, it's like I said, man. It's kind of funny to me, though.
All money really is a tool, man. A tool of living your life that they've out of their design, being the 1% establishment, the Zionists, the Zionist Jews, okay, which that's exactly what they are. There's Israelites, there's Zionist Jews, and there's Hebrews. There's three forms of the Jews or whatever. The Israelites are God's children. Zionists are fucking greedy bastards, and the Hebrews are people that are living in Israel, I believe.
Money was made for control, period. Because at one time in this world, it was hunter-gatherer. You know what I'm saying? If you was hungry, you went out and grabbed you fruit off of the tree. You went out and hunt. You went out and killed an animal, harvested.
You're absolutely right about that. And what it is, money was created and designed so people wouldn't have to go out there and do the hunting or the gathering. They could just sit back and, collect off of people that do the hunting and gathering. And then now we've come full circle to, the point where all of society doesn't want to hunt and gather. They just rather sit back and collect money.
But it still falls under control. Because, hey, everyone serves a purpose. Say, for instance, you make clothes. I could trade clothes. I could trade my fruit for your clothes. I could do. Why would I need money when you could just trade out? But once again, it's over control, man. So it don't matter which way you put it, man. Money was made for control. Period. It doesn't matter how you put it, because anyone could trade. That's what they did back in the day. They trade things. If they had more of something and you had more of something that they wanted, you just trade out. That was it. It wasn't hey, you give me this money and then, we going. I mean, what was the use for money? Money was useless. One day it's going to be useless again.
You're absolutely right about that. In Revelations, it says right in the book in the good book itself, it says in the days of Noah, people will cast their gold, silver, and money to the streets because it'll be worth nothing. The days of Noah being the end days, which will be like the days of Noah.
Yeah, you're right. Like with me, man, I read pretty much every type of book that exists. I mean, everyone knows that I don't have a religion. I just believe there's a creator. All of this had to come from something. But I read just about every book, man, to try to gain some kind of wisdom, to try to understand something about this earth. And all of them have something in common. Every last book you find has something in common.
Sorry about this, but I just want to point this out. I think true value is a person who knows how to be constructive, has a skilled trade behind them, is willing to work and build things. That's somebody who that's where people are going to be valuable. That's how they're going to be able to survive in the days of where the monetary system goes awry and it doesn't count anymore. You know, a problem solver, a thinker. That's what's going to be keeping people alive. And people that are willing to be constructive and be out there and do things, not just sit back and wait for somebody else to do it with an entitlement mentality.
Yep, you're right. You know, and once everything stops having a value and everything is of equal value, and that's when everything is going to. I mean, now you have things that are worth more than others, and so now if I come to you and what I have is worth all of your money, and what you have is not worth a hill of beans, guess what? You're going to end up poor. That's some funny stuff. It's kind of funny though, but that's what money brought into play. Money brought into play. It made things. It devalued a lot of stuff.
You know, I always say like this, man, and this is something I really feel good. This is the truth about me. If I spend money on like a TV, spending that money on a TV, turn that money into dead money, because it can't make you anything. If you spend money on things like tools, things that you need to create things, fix things, that's no longer dead money.
Yeah, you gotta take it into consideration. Without a janitor, you wouldn't have a clean area to take a shit or piss or sleep or eat in. You know what I'm saying? Without that cashier or the fry cook at Burger King, I wouldn't be able to eat a Whopper. I mean, so no one is more important than the other. No thing is more important than the other. Everything is of equal value. Everything is needed in some kind of way. It serves a purpose in this world. But that's just the way it is now. You know, with money, everything's been devalued. So I look at it in that way.
I guess in a better perspective, I think people they don't know how to live within their means. When I say we're living within their means, if they've only got so much money coming in, why are they trying to live and spend more money than they have coming in? This is what puts people in debt, you know? Well, that's evil right there, you know what I mean? People know that people like that drama, so they create situations to attract these people that are addicted to drama, which drama, in my view, is evil. There's nothing good coming from it, nothing but bad. It instills evil thoughts in people's minds. You know, it provokes bad thinking, unhealthy thinking. It's evil.
And they're advertising shampoo, okay, for kids, bubble bath, whatever. You have a girl in the bathtub bathing, the pedophiles on that one. Every single motherfucker that advertised anything that does with Dolly Parton, dancing in a dress, she's hung around other fucking people that trained her, was around in Hollywood. Their parents sent them off to these men to fucking be around them, to teach them how to dance and do all these things that are not cute. But it's a commercial, right? It's just a commercial to get people's eyes on a commercial and watch that shit, or go out and buy a product because it's showing shampoo for kids, or this commercial is showing Dolly Parton dancing and shit in some commercial.
I think what you're getting misconstrued is some people are taking music and arts and things like dancing, that falls in the arts category, and they're manipulating it to capitalize on it and then twist it and turn it into a evil thing. Not saying you're wrong, but I do believe it started off like dancing, you know, a woman's beauty. That didn't start off as an evil thing. It's been manipulated and turned into an evil thing.
Well, it started off with kids. You know, look at these lost boys. He comes out as an adult saying, "Oh, he's been around pedophiles ever since he was a child." You know, Lost Boys. Remember that movie? He's been in the Hollywood scene saying, "Hey, the pedophiles are all around me when I was a child."
I know what you're talking about with Corey Feldman, man. I understand that, and he's put it out there about how the Hollywood is, you know, they use children as, you know, they put them in a pedophile, blah blah blah, homosexual shit, all that crap. I understand what you're saying, okay? But what I'm saying is, it didn't start off. These things, you know, the arts, music and arts, and happiness, they've gradually came to the point where now it's no longer that, and they've manipulated it to be no longer that.
Hold on, that's sick. The way you people think today, like when you made that comment, I heard what you just said. You think, oh, they got the money. They abort black people in these abortion clinics. They take more black babies, they turn them into powder and shit, and get Lamborghinis. Fucking, they go out there and buy all kinds of shit. You hear how they're fucking buying up more black people because they're worth, black people are worth money?
Listen, man. People want to talk about slavery. There's 21 million slaves that exist on this planet right today, and all in different countries, and they have nothing to do with black race. 21 million today that are slaves. Literal slaves.
Yeah, Ghost, if I can jump in, that's actually 30 million slaves right now. So, and did you know 60,000 of those are in the U.S.? It's kind of crazy. And that's not a modern definition of slavery that's been softened by like modern standards, you know. That's 30 million real slaves, you know, living as forced laborers, child soldiers, prostitutes, you name it. So yeah, it's crazy, man.
I'm just saying black people's skin is worth money ever since crocodiles, okay?
You know, I get a kick out of people talking about slavery and this, that, and the other thing. But, you know, they want to go after, you know, want to talk about slavery and be, you know, against slavery. But yet I bet you a whole bunch of them are owning an Apple phone, which was created by Chinese slaves. From Apple. Apple literally had to put suicide nets outside their buildings because they worked the Chinese so hard. They just said fuck it. They wouldn't let them go home and rest, eat. They were slaves. They were jumping out fucking windows and shit to their death. So to the tune of they had to put suicide nets out their building. Apple, yeah, in China, yeah. But meanwhile, I guarantee you, there's a shit ton of people that have an Apple phone, or an Apple notepad, or an Apple computer. But let's go attack monuments, Confederate monuments. Now Christopher Columbus, who had nothing to do with the Confederate Army or the Civil War, you know, all the way down to that now. You know, but meanwhile, I guarantee you half those sons of bitches got an Apple phone, or an Apple notepad, or an Apple computer. Oh, and by the way, you might want to get rid of your clothes too, because they're made of cotton. You know what I'm saying? Anything made of cotton, well, we could associate to black slavery. So you might want to start stripping down and walking around naked because you know it's made of cotton. Most clothes are made of cotton now. Just saying. Get rid of your fucking curtains. Get rid of your fucking sleep. You know, your fucking blankets. Get rid of your sheets. Get rid of, you know, anything that's made of cotton. Your socks. Get rid of it. Your underwears. If it's made of cotton, that represents slavery. So you better get rid of it.
Yeah, I've been listening to y'all, man. You right about that shit, though. If you got a problem with slavery, then you might as well get rid of your goddamn socks. Anything else you got on in your dresser drawer, you might as well get rid of it. I feel on that shit, though. Also, too, man, after you touch on that, I wanted to go back to when you said people were killing themselves and about Apple phones and shit.
Well, I mean, not for nothing. People are all worried about, you know, racism and slavery and this, that, and the other thing. Well, they better get rid of their Apple phones that they charge so much for and were willing to pay, what, $800, $900 for it? Maybe $1,000. Better chuck that to the fucking wind too. Burn that motherfucker. You know, because we can't have anything that has to do with slavery in this world anymore. But you know what I mean? Just saying. I wonder if anybody realizes the true agenda behind all this, besides trying to cause all kinds of chaos in this country. It's called the eradication of history, human history, so they can rewrite it the way they want it to be rewritten. Why would they want to do that? To cover up all the bad doings, mainly, the overtaxation and manipulation of the public masses of the world, so they can be, basically scot-free of their bad doings and get away with it.
Look, man, I mean, it ain't the best knowledge is knowledge to keep to yourself. I mean, all the, I'm not stupid out here, man. Everybody pretty much knows what's going on. But I'm gonna tell you like this here, bro. I know a whole lot of shit too, but you don't see me telling my fellow man, hey, don't this, because this and this is gonna happen. Don't live like this, because this and this gonna go down. Times out of 10, they gonna look at you stupid as fuck. They ain't gonna try to understand what the fuck you're saying. They like children, you know what I'm saying? You can teach them, but don't mean they gonna fucking learn. You can lead a horse to water. One more thing too, man. I said let people die, the ones that don't believe it. Let them fucking die in their sleep or get choked the fuck up. Who gives a fuck what happened to them? All you know is survive and save love himself. Fuck them. That's how I live. Stop trying to teach people because you're coming across a motherfucking slope, a slopey mountain. You got evidence. And if it's true to you, then it's true to you.
Well, thinking like that, I guess we live in the divided states of America. Completely divided. It's no wonder we're living in a society that we're fucking living in all fucked up. Every man for himself.
You gotta be like that, man. Look at the conflict y'all getting into. Look at the stupid shit y'all getting into, man. You gotta be like that, man. Save your fucking soul.
I think it's pretty peculiar that you believe in Satan, but you're willing to step up and protect your, I guess, neighbor or friend's children if they were to be in harm's way. I mean, Satan wouldn't even give a shit. It's kind of peculiar what you claim.
But see, Satan does. He does care, man. Why you think? Put it like this here, man. Satan, at the same time, he's deceiving everybody else into believing that there isn't any God or any thing like this here. He's trying to get back into the grace of God, of the same person. He's trying to tell us that that isn't true. That's why you have free will. You see, don't nothing Satan do unless he was a commandment from God. That's true right there. That's real.
Actually, Satan hates human beings for the fact of he does not have free will, and God gave us human beings, his children, free will. That's what this whole thing is about. Trying to steal and take our free will away. That is Satan's ultimate goal. So that he can, he's jealous. He's been jealous.
Yeah, but that's true in a sense. He felt that why were we favored more than, why were the people of the planet favored more than he was when he was created first and all this stuff, blah blah. But yeah, it's jealousy, man. And y'all are the targets. We are the targets. Put it like this, and that's all of us. Satan worship us, everybody. He gets people his deed. We are this.
Yep. See, we worship the devil, the fucking father, the devil, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And it's all the same person talking to us. You got the devil talking to us at one time. You got Jesus, or this guy talking to us at one time, and then we're just. The devil's always there. You might be following this guy, but he's always on. The devil's right there behind you. You're really following the devil's ways and Lucifer, because that's the image.
Exactly. What I want to say too is that all right, God is many things, man. Everything. So there's another theory that me and my people talk about. What if he was Satan too? And that was the big deception right there. Just a theory, man. What if he was him too? Because each and every one, if we was created in the image of, in the likeness of him, and you and I share just as good. But wouldn't he share the same thing?
I was also going to say, Satan was one time and Lucifer is another time. Lucifer is probably in this time because everybody wants us to worship the light bearer, the one with the torch, running the marathon. Light the torch here, light the torch there, and let everybody, acknowledge what's coming ahead of, what's going to come ahead, what's going to come. What's going to be the next sign? One person's already giving you signs. This sign is being passed on to the next by a torch. You know what I mean. Lucifer is always Satan. Satan was destroyed last time. Lucifer is rising. Lucifer might be Jupiter, as far as I know, according to the ancient Bible.
Very negative, non-constructive communications that you're putting out there. I mean, if shit happens to you in a bad manner, all I got to say is don't cry to me about it, because you're asking for it.
Alright, I gotta step in, Ghost. Looks like we are out of time for today's podcast, but I just want to thank Ghost and Neil and everybody for joining. If you want to hear more shows like this one, join us at consciouschat.com. But again, thank you for listening to Conscious Chat on all things tech.